Hello, everyone who's joining. So we'll just wait a minute or two for all of our registrants to hop on. If you want to share in the chat your name and maybe the best thing that you bought this Black Friday, Cyber Monday online, curious to hear. Hello, hello to everyone who is joining and hopping on. We're just giving everyone a minute or two to log on. While we're waiting, if you want to share in the chat your name and best thing that you bought this Black Friday, Cyber Monday season, we want to learn from you. I'll go first. I'll break the ice. My name is Tila, and the best thing that I bought this Black Friday, Cyber Monday season was going to reveal how nerdy I am. It's a custom dog hoodie with my dog's face embroidered on it and then his name on the arm. I will wear it to a future webinar. It was 50% off. Fantastic deal. Awesome. And remember in the chat, if you can adjust to send to everyone instead of hosts and panelists, then everyone can see. Nigel, you got a stainless steel frying pan, your new weapon of choice. What brand did you buy from? I'm curious.
I got it from Made in Cookware. They've been all over my Instagram, and I just had to get one.
Nice. Me too. I can't wait for your review. Cool. Hello, everyone who's hopping on and joining. All right, we're about 2 minutes into the hour, so let's get started on our webinar. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day today to join us and talk about our retention resolutions or the things that we're setting as our New Year's resolutions for 2025. We're really thrilled to have you today. I'll get started with a quick agenda. So today you can expect a really deep dive into some retention challenges and solutions. We're talking about proven tactics and real world examples. When we thought about this idea, we didn't want to kind of just deliver you the same content that you're always seeing. What we wanted to think was, how are your peers actually doing this work of improving lifecycle marketing, improving that journey to second purchase? So we're highlighting some amazing case studies from amazing brands. You can see all of these amazing brands on the screen right now. We'll go through and do a couple intros, and then at the end, we will have a Q&A and some offers. So ask questions in the chat, be really active. We are recording today, so if you have any questions or if you need to drop off early, you can always watch that recording. And I do want to say, we want to make sure that we're addressing your questions and we're giving you an extra layer of motivation for that. We're doing a giveaway for the most active participant in the chat. So ask your questions, share your thoughts, share your comments, and then whoever is the most active will win a $100 Amazon gift card to support them with that upcoming holiday shopping. All right. Final note is that all of our content today is based on an amazing ebook that everyone on this call participated in and contributed to. So there's a QR code here to download that ebook, and we will follow up with it. All right, let's hop into introductions and the good stuff. So I'll start with myself. I'm Tila. I'm our manager of marketing here at Stamped. This is my third Black Friday Cyber Monday season with the team. And one thing that I've really noticed this year compared to years previous is the focus on post-purchase journeys. So we're seeing more people thinking about how do holiday seasons pick into or play into their loyalty programs? What are they doing for retention marketing afterwards? I think that really speaks to that industry trend around lifecycle marketing that we're going to be digging into today. I'm going to turn it over to Nigel, who's the Strategic Partnerships Manager at Aftership, for his introduction.
Hey, everyone. I'm Nigel from the partnerships team at Aftership. Aftership's a post-purchase platform. We're trying to transform every delivery and return into opportunities for building trust and loyalty. So today we're talking about returns and how to offer transparent, hassle-free returns that delights customers, unburdens your support teams, and recaptures revenue.
Amazing. So happy to have you here, Nigel. I'll turn it over to Brett next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brett, the founder and CEO of Gatsby, and we help brands convert their Instagram followers into their email and SMS subscribers, as well as loyalty members. So with Stamped or with Klaviyo or Attentive or Yotpo for email and SMS, and other integrations as well. It also works with TikTok as well, and just in general, syncing Instagram and TikTok data into the other tools you're using in your marketing stack.
Awesome. So happy to have you here, Brett. Gatsby is
Likewise.
absolutely one of our merchants' favorite integrations. They love bringing that loyalty program to their social channels. Ben, I'll turn it over to you to introduce yourself and Postpilot.
What's up, everybody? My name is Ben. I'm here at the team at Postpilot. We are the direct mail platform for top Shopify brands. We are fully integrated within the Shopify ecosystem. You can think about us as the Klaviyo for direct mail marketing. We're fully done for you, full funnel, and we will help you stand out. We helped a lot of brands stand out this Black Friday, Cyber Monday season, and we're excited to go into the new year with direct mail.
Awesome. So excited to have you here, Ben. We did an amazing event with your team earlier this year, live in Malibu, and had so much fun meeting your whole team there. Ryan, I'll turn it over to you to introduce yourself and Roswell.
Hey everyone, sorry I was on mute there. My name is Ryan. I'm the Associate Director of Retention Marketing at Roswell. Roswell's a full service e-commerce agency based out of New York. We've got a proven track record of helping businesses achieve significant growth. So I'm super happy to be here today, and thanks for having me.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you here today and to talk about our shared customer that you're going to highlight. Last but not least, Jason from Defiant.
Hey everybody, my name is Jason. I am Strategic Growth Advisor and founder of Defiant. We help brands and merchants understand their data and their finances and their customers, hopefully helping them get a little bit more out of every dollar that they invest in their business.
Awesome. So excited to have the full team here. So let's hop into the good stuff. Reminder, everyone, ask your questions in the chat as we're going. I'm going to start off kicking it off about Stamped and one of our customers, PE Science. PE Science is a premium supplements brand who are focused on science-backed nutrition and high-quality ingredients. Their challenge was really thinking about their margin improvement. So PE Science best margins are on their website. They actually see a 20% dip in margin for any purchase that is made through Amazon compared through on-site. And I think every merchant is familiar with this, that when you're selling through Amazon, you're actually giving away a purchase of that share of wallet, and 20% was pretty high. They were trying to counter that learned behavior around subscribe and save on Amazon, or those extra discounts that people can get via Amazon. And their way to solve that was actually to look at their loyalty program. So PE Science already had a loyalty program. If you're not familiar with Stamped, we're reviews and loyalty software. And so they've been using Stamped for loyalty for a long time. Their loyalty program was really active. Community was really engaged. Lots of rewards were being used. But they hadn't really optimized that loyalty program. When they first set it up, they used it based on what were their peers doing. So they looked at some of the other competitors in the space and saw what type of rewards are they offering. Let's replicate those. But they actually received a newsletter from our CEO, and plug for the Stamp newsletter if you're not subscribing it. Each week we analyze different elements of a loyalty program and talk about ways to optimize it. And this week was about percentage-based discounts compared to dollar-based discounts. And what we found in our research at Stamped was that percentage-based discounts tend to have a higher AOV and LTV than any dollar-based discount. It makes sense, right? If you think of a $70 purchase with $10 off, you're giving away $10. If you think of a $70 purchase with 10% off, you're only giving away $7 for that discounting strategy. So they decided to experiment with this. They made that change, but didn't actually announce it to their customer base to see if it changed anything in purchase behavior. And it gave them some pretty immediate results. In the first 14 days, we saw a huge jump in performance improvement. And after 30 days, we decided to just make the change permanent. What they saw was a 45% lift in AOV and a 10% lift in average basket size through these loyalty strategies. So it kind of made up for those margins that they were losing on the Amazon channel itself. Some tactics that you can use to replicate this for your own brand. First, your loyalty program is not working for you if you put it on the shelf. It needs to be optimized and well-maintained. Doing things like adjusting your reward type, looking at what purchase behaviors are actually influencing people is the strongest way to have it work for you instead of costing you money when it comes to be discounting. The second is that you should be testing and optimizing reward structures. So we often see this come in when people are new to Stamped or new to loyalty programs. This is what I used to be doing. I want to replicate it. And when we ask why, it's often, well, this is because it was what was recommended to me by a CSM, or it's what my competitors are doing. We want to get really juicy into those deep bits of your performance analytics and test and experiment with different pieces. The other piece that you can think about here with testing and optimization is speed to implementation. What they saw is that because within 14 days, that result was so strong in terms of the AOV and the basket size, turning it on for everyone and switching it quickly made the most sense. And they've continued to sustain these results in the 3 months since this test. So pretty successful result for them in terms of just tweaking one small component in a loyalty program. And I'm going to surprise you and talk also about Repeat. Imagine I'm putting on my Repeat hat now. Repeat is a lifecycle marketing software. We integrate with Klaviyo, with Attentive, with Postscript. And what Repeat does is it automates flows. So it automates post-purchase flows. The reason I'm talking about Repeat too is because Stamped acquired them earlier this year. We're thrilled to be able to offer full cycle, lifecycle marketing support from reviews to loyalty to lifecycle. And so I'm going to talk about one of Repeat's favorite customers, Fresh Clean Threads. Does anyone shop at Fresh Clean Threads on this call? I know my boyfriend loves them. I see some people nodding. They have amazing products and they have even better marketing. And so they came to Repeat with a challenge of noticing a 10 to 15% drop in 12-month order frequency for customers who added more t-shirts to their first order. So they were noticing that subscription wasn't really working the same way that it used to, and they needed to find a way to supplement that. The existing subscription flows didn't suit these customers who didn't necessarily want to make the same purchase every single month. Maybe they weren't running through t-shirts, maybe they wanted to try different styles, or they found that their wear frequency was different, and we needed to build out some personalized and tailored solutions. So the way that they solved this was to start using Repeat to monitor when customers enter key moments and pass that intelligence to Attentive. What they were looking for was to identify when a customer might be most interested in purchasing a different style, or identify when a customer might be most likely to stain their white t-shirt based on purchase behavior of past customers when you look at white t-shirt repurchases. And so Repeat ingests all of that data for them and then gives personalized recommendations that you can pop into Attentive, pop into Klaviyo to send a, hey, we think you might have stained your white t-shirt by now. Do you need to purchase a new one with a specific discount? So they didn't want to go all in on this because subscriptions was working moderately well for them, but they did want to test it for that unique segment of customers who weren't repurchasing the way that they thought they would. So they designed a 90-day holdup test and withheld 50% of their customers so that they could benchmark using the flows versus not using the flows. And they had that precisely timed messaging across both of the flows. We think your white t-shirt is stained. The result for them was that 5.6% lift in AOV and a 7.7% lift in a 30-day LTV. And then because these results went so well, they decided to cut the test early and roll it out to the entire customer base. So really what this did for them was to replace that concept of if someone subscribes to it, they will automatically just repurchase for the next 12 months, when in reality, someone might not need a new t-shirt every 12 months. And instead to look at actual purchase behavior and to recommend based on that. And then once we have people in their purchase frequency based on their habits, to start cross-selling and upselling. Really successful results for them. And what you can take away from this is that having some sort of data layer that helps you to understand those life cycle moments, like when someone is most likely to stain their t-shirt, like when they're most ready to purchase a jacket or a pair of track pants, is actually one of the most valuable pieces that you can collect when it comes to building out your life cycle marketing flows. Repeat is a really good example of this, but knowing your purchase history and finding a tool that helps you do this will help you to have better personalized marketing and better times of recommendations. And I think the second tactic is that data is only useful if you can put it into action. If you're doing all of this using Excel docs, using BI tools, and not actually porting that information into Klaviyo and Attentive to design custom flows that update very frequently, kind of doing the work and collecting the data for no reason. So finding a way to automate these pieces with a tool like Repeat or another tool that supports you with that kind of post-purchase journey. The last one requires no new technology. And I'm going to summarize this for both stamped and for repeat. I think every marketer's New Year's resolution should be to monitor your tests more closely and to ship it when it's working. A lot of the times we have this concept of, oh, I need to wait 60 days to get the full data set. If things are looking fantastic at 30 days, why not ship it a little bit early and cut your test times? Having some fluidity in that can be a really powerful way to kind of move the needle on those rev numbers on that LTV a little bit quicker and to support customers with their journey, right? A customer isn't waiting 90 days for you to run a test. They're living in their own life cycle and their own journeys. All right, that's it from the stamp side. I'm going to turn it over to Aftership next to talk a little bit about, my slide has frozen, turn over to Nigel from Aftership to talk through your case study.
Yeah, hey everyone, Nigel here from Aftership, and here today to highlight the importance of returns as part of your retention strategy. So I wanted to set the stage with a reality that many brands are facing today. So it's December the 11th. We're just over 2 weeks after Cyber Monday. Parcels are in the hands of customers. Many teams are celebrating a successful BFCM weekend. For many CX and support teams, though, the real chaos is only starting to begin. So as the dust settles from the peak shopping days, our data is showing a spike in return volumes to match. So merchants who resolve returns manually are starting to feel the pressure, and this is where challenges start to mount. Things like long resolution times for returns, your customer service teams being overwhelmed by the volume, and customers wondering when their return is going to be resolved. So it shows that returns, not just an operational issue, they can become a customer experience problem as well. Because when returns are handled poorly, you can damage the trust that you've worked so hard to build, resulting in potential lost customers and future revenue. So this is where automation really comes in. So introducing Fellow, they're a specialty coffee brand known for this sleek, fashionable, functional coffee brewing gear that enthusiasts really love. And I saw some love for Fellow in the chat as well. They're a great brand. But before Aftership, their returns process was really a hassle for both customers and their support teams alike. They were managing returns manually, resulting in, again, long resolution times, bogged down support team, and a decrease in your customer satisfaction. After implementing Aftership returns, they saw it was a 52% decrease in the ticket resolution time, as well as a 20% increase in recaptured revenue through options like exchanges and store credit. So by offering flexible return options like store credit, also things like green returns where the customer can keep a low value item, Fellow not only improved efficiency, but also turned returns into an opportunity to build customer loyalty and drive repeat purchases. So let's bring it back to an example like today. Imagine a Cyber Monday shopper who purchased from your site, and a couple weeks later, they need to return an item. So with Aftership, instead of a lengthy and cumbersome returns process, you can offer them a seamless resolution like a store credit. And what happens next? They're now back on your website and they're using that credit towards a future purchase, maybe a gift for the coming holiday season. So the process not only resolves the return quickly, but it also directly drives future sales and increases your customer retention. So the big takeaway here is really that returns don't have to be a loss. By automating, offering flexible return options, you can transform returns from an operational burden into a really customer-centric process that's going to build trust and recapture revenue that could have been lost otherwise.
Awesome. Thank you, Nigel. I so appreciate the focus that Aftership has on returns as an opportunity to build trust with customers. I think it's such a key point in that loyalty and real sense of community that brands are focused on right now.
Agreed. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. So next up, we're going to turn it over to Brat from Gatsby to talk about how leveraging Instagram in a unique way can drive community engagement.
Cool. Thanks, Tila. Yeah, the Fellow products, by the way. So I'm kind of excited to talk about Candy Lab because they also are a really well-designed product. And my wife's a designer. I've got really into design in recent years. And so when I see a beautiful product, I love it. And Fellow is great. And then Candy Lab, if you're not familiar with them, kind of a funny little quick story. I had a baby about 6 months ago, and one of my first times walking around with him, I went into like a toy store for like kids, for babies or whatever, and it has all these like really elegant products. I live in San Diego. There's some really expensive kid stores, and there were these toy cars, and I took pictures of the shelves of them. I was so impressed with how they looked. They were so cool. And then about a month later, randomly one of our agency partners said, "Hey, we have a client that wants to use Gatsby. It's Candy Lab." And I was like, "Oh my God, I took a picture of their products last month." So I'm really excited that they use Gatsby, and then I have a case study with them and get to talk to it with all of you guys today. So as you can see behind me here, Gatsby is involved with Instagram. I mentioned that in my introduction today, and a lot of brands out there are using Instagram heavily. It's probably the number one source of marketing time, attention, and spend, maybe right before, right after their email and SMS channel. But the disconnect is pretty concerning, right? So you spend a ton of time and money building your audience on Instagram. We have clients with millions and millions of Instagram followers, and you spend all this time and you really have no way of attributing that back to sales. Oftentimes, the relationship with those Instagram followers is very fragile. You have no idea who's seeing which content when. You have no way of controlling when they see it or what they see. And then if they unfollow you, it's as if they were never there in the first place, right? There's no history, there's no way to get them back. So a lot of brands are looking for ways to own that relationship with their followers. I mean, after all, they spent a lot of energy to get that follower. So we at Gatsby have been around for about 8 years. I'm the founder. I started it in 2016, but we released a new feature in April, about 8 months ago, or 7 months ago, whatever. And it has kind of catapulted our business because what it does is it, like I mentioned, it converts those Instagram followers into those owned channels like email, SMS, and loyalty. So behind me here is a screenshot of a Instagram giveaway. And a lot of brands out there are probably using giveaways. And oftentimes a giveaway is something like this, like this post, comment 3 friends. Um, Pretty much that's it. Like pretty much engage with the post is sort of the way to enter the giveaway. And the purpose of that is to get engagement and build more followers. But then again, those followers are stuck on Instagram. So we built a method to make it really easy to have that person on Instagram, that follower, supply you with their email address or phone number and opt into your email or SMS list without leaving their DMs. So you can see behind me here, this is an Instagram DM screenshot. So Candy Lab was running a giveaway on Halloween. They were offering a chance to win their hearse for Halloween. It's their hearse toy car. And they said to win this, DM or comment the word hearse on this post. And when they did that, Gatsby responded with a message like you can see here, reply with your email to join our VIP list, right? Or reply with your email to enter to win the giveaway. I shortened the text of that screenshot so it would fit because they have a much longer response. And then when that consumer replies with their email address, you can see there's one more automated response here that says join our email list. That button that you can see right there, join our email list, that is actually connected to their Klaviyo account, or it could be their Attentive or their other destination. What's amazing here is they had 82% of people who commented the word hearse went on to actually provide their email address and join their Klaviyo email list. So they added 472 new email subscribers in the 5 days. Now, obviously, this is proportional to how many followers they have. So we have clients that are running giveaways that are getting thousands of people within a couple days to join their email or SMS list. And then with Gatsby, we are also hooked up to Shopify. So we can track how many transactions these new subscribers are doing in your Shopify store. Now, it's a little skewed because of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but we just drafted a case study with I think it's like something crazy, like a 1000x ROI, because they acquired like 4,000 new email subscribers and they had hundreds of new orders, and just the ROI is just tremendous. So again, just to recap here, it's a way of converting your Instagram followers into those owned channels like email, SMS, and loyalty. I haven't mentioned it, but the setup process is usually within 20, 30 minutes. And it's pretty fun. Brands and consumers alike enjoy it. So any questions, just let me know.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Brett. That's so powerful. Agreed with the brands see way higher engagement rates and new followers coming in through holiday shopping from different promotions, et cetera. So being able to convert them to actually give you that zero-party data and then to activate it is so powerful. Thanks for highlighting this.
Of course.
Cool. I have a 4-month-old nephew, and I feel like I need to go check out Candy Lab now to
Yeah,
potentially do some extra holiday shopping.
definitely should. They're really cool toys.
Cool. Alrighty, next I'm going to turn it over to Ben from Post Pilot to talk a little bit about Good American.
Awesome. Thanks, Tila. And excited to be here to talk a little bit about how Good American has leveraged direct mail as a channel to really drive second purchases in an efficient and effective way. Good American, for those of you who may not be familiar, is a pretty established apparel company, actually backed by Khloe Kardashian. So this is a celebrity-backed brand, a pretty cool one. And they're a smart brand. They do a good job at diversifying their marketing spend across digital, out of home, and direct mail. And so when they came to Postpilot, they had actually tried and tested direct mail in the past, which is not always the case for like digitally native brands that kind of started in the digital ecosystem. But Good American had. Now, despite the fact that they had tried direct mail in the past, they still had faced many of the same challenges that a lot of brands that are maybe exploring the channel for the very first time expressed to us. And those would be things like, okay, how do we begin to deploy a direct mail program? But really, how do we automate a direct mail program and track a direct mail program in a way that we're going to be able to scale this and really make it an efficient and effective channel at the end of the day that we can feel confident in investing more dollars in, right? We know if we're spending on digital, we know if we're running email, we know if we're running SMS, that we're going to be able to track click-throughs, see the direct engagement, see the performance of the channel, and we can feel confident that we can put more dollars into it and obviously get a return. How can we do the same with direct mail? And so this is where Postpilot really comes into play. Of course, I mentioned earlier in my brief intro that we are a fully integrated partner. We our direct Shopify app, we plug into Klaviyo. We allow brands to track through the performance of the direct mail program. So when Good American came to us, we said, okay, great. You're with the right folks now. We're going to help you scale a program. We're going to help you test in. And so as we, worked to a solution for Good American and really worked to build a robust program, there were a few steps that we took to do so. So as I said, we plug into Shopify and Klaviyo, which allows Postpilot to really tap into the historical customer data that Good American is already collecting. We can look at the data within Shopify, we can pull over Klaviyo segments, and we can start to define some audiences that we may want to test in on. And so for Good American, we ran a few tests. So we started off with some A/B testing, targeting some specific customers who had purchased within a specific time frame. They had purchased one time, they had spent over a certain threshold. And we ran some tests in tandem after that to determine, okay, looking at cohort analysis between first and second purchase, when is it the right time to implement a direct mail touchpoint to drive that second purchase and ultimately really to drive incremental revenue. And so looking at the data that we were able to collect through our Shopify integration, we look at matchback conversions, we look at, of course, incremental holdout analysis, we look at coupon redemption. We were able to determine with and for Good American when was the best time to be automating a direct mail trigger between a first and second purchase so that we can supplement and improve the performance of their digital channels like email, like SMS, and ultimately drive higher performance across the board and higher profitability. And so once we were able to determine this, we were able to just turn it on as an automation, set it and forget it, and just monitor the results as they roll in. And so now Good American is able to effectively on autopilot run their direct mail program fully integrated with their digital strategy and drive some fantastic results. If you want to pop those up on screen, Tila, across all of their automated winbacks, they're seeing over an 8x average return on investment. They're seeing per recipient or per send, so not per conversion, but per postcard they send, an incremental lift of about $1.40 in revenue. So this is impactful, and obviously coming to Postpilot, Good American was already a fan of the channel, which is different than some brands who have not tested in the past. But coming to Postpilot, they were really able to see the true impact. They were able to hand it off to our team, allow our accounts team to take care of this for them, and obviously grow a profitable program. So would love to do this for many of you on the call. Feel free to reach out, ask questions, and we can set up your automated direct mail program as well.
Awesome. Thank you for highlighting that, Ben. Love Good American. Fun fact about me, my first job out of university was in publishing, and I was working on marketing a book and had to do direct mail by myself and manually send everything out. So not an e-commerce product, but I could have really used Postpilot at the time. I totally understand the scale at which you can bring this and how powerful that it can be. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan from Roswell to talk to us about Brixton's loyalty program.
Hey everyone, Ryan at Roswell. I just want to say I can personally attest to some of the successes we've seen with brands on Postpilot. So, couldn't recommend it anymore. We've seen some similar ROIs for sure. But today I wanted to highlight how we've helped Brixton achieve a 350% loyalty program revenue growth. And really all it took was increased marketing and attention to their program. Before getting into it, I want to give a brief background about what Brixton's all about. Brixton is a lifestyle brand that was founded in 2004 in Southern California, and it really specializes in timeless and versatile apparel, hats, accessories, think like fedoras, some of those old style hats and caps. They really, draw inspiration from music, art, and then think also skateboarding and surfing. The brand also really highlights sustainability by using eco-friendly materials in their collections. And they've also launched collaborations with other cultural icons like Fender and Coors to create some cool limited edition collections. So now digging into the challenges Brixton faced, we began working with them throughout the holidays in the previous year. And really, it's just obviously for many brands, it's a critical time of the year. And they're seeing, an influx of traffic and sales, and that's really exciting. But the challenge really lies in turning these newly acquired customers into loyal customers who purchase frequently and not just, shop one time during the holidays. They also really sought to improve the loyalty program adoption and really just ensure people are redeeming their points. So just think overall engagement. So what we did was we knew that they had a great base for their program, but it really lacked the marketing behind it and growth in terms of participation and engagement. What we did was we really looked to their email marketing platform to design a series of dedicated email flows triggered by specific user actions. And so I want to highlight a few of those. One is when someone hits a new tier, we created a VIP tier achieved email, which really just celebrates when they hit that tier, gives them a little bit of a highlight reel of what those benefits are, what they need to do to get to the next tier and so forth. On top of that, we also really encouraged users who have enough points for rewards to redeem them. So it's just, again, an email that's a bit of a reminder. You may think that's a bit trivial, but people forget, they're members on a ton of different programs. They shop in so many different places. So this reminder can be a really great way to, drive purchase frequency and engagement. Another one that seems very obvious, but a rewards welcome is something that we find very key to program engagement. If they're signing up, especially in Shopify, when someone creates an account, they may be doing it just to, create their order. They may be doing it for other reasons. And so they may not even be aware they're part of the loyalty program. And we want to make sure that people do know about that and what those benefits are. And then lastly, we also created a post-purchase series that, really encourages people who place an order to create an account so they can earn those points that they would have otherwise gotten on that order. So a really, sort of easy way to get people to join the program retroactively. So these targeted automations are really, great to help people stay engaged long term. It's a great two-way exchange of value because we're rewarding them for the loyalty. It's not just the random messages we're sending out. But we also, really do want to incorporate, this type of information in the campaigns as well that people send, as well as just within automations that are not loyalty related. So we created things like hide show blocks that will only show to members who are not a part of the program or are part of the program. So maybe members get their points balance. Non-members are encouraged to join the program and linked right to the program sign-up page. And because of all these changes, like I said, we were able to drive their program revenue by 350% over the time period that we started working with them, which is about 8 to 10 months. So if you are looking to create a similar strategy, stamped integrations with some of the most popular email and SMS marketing platforms make it really simple to pull in the data needed. to build the similar style flows or do the hide show blocks. We also, highly utilize data points in those emails, whether it be points balance, referral link, VIP tier. And it really just creates those highly personalized experiences to drive retention. And then, yeah, I mean, if your goal is to transform seasonal shoppers into long-term advocates, start by optimizing your loyalty program with these proven tactics. The results do really speak for themselves. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for highlighting that. Brixton is one of our favorite brands to work with, Ryan, and your team at Roswell has been phenomenal to partner with on these improvements. We're so aligned with your concept that a loyalty program only works if you're merchandising it correctly, and then it's like any other discounting strategy. So thank you so much for highlighting this. All right, so up next, we have Jason from Defiant, last but not least, talking us through Aaron Wallace.
Thanks, Tila. So Aaron Wallace is a men's grooming brand born out of a barbershop in South London here in the UK. And they are specifically for hair and skincare for men of color, which has traditionally been a really underrepresented area. Now, unlike a lot of the brands that we deal with, they were super strong already in retail. And Aaron Wallace really wanted to bring more prevalence to their D2C offering, and wanted to really build sort of their customer base. You could pick this up in Saks Fifth Avenue or a pharmacy, or your local like grocery store. But they really wanted to kind of grow their customer base, and grow their fans and really understand the issues that these guys were facing. So they had a bit of an issue in the sense that, probably like a lot of brands, people would come on and they would try the brand. They would, spend money on a purchase, and the biggest, they would celebrate that. But then the biggest issue that they found was trying to get customers to come back for a repeat purchase. And that's kind of really poignant right now at this moment in time. Brands have probably acquired a lot of new customers, and the issue now is, your thinking is turning towards how do we get them to come back? And so the biggest issue we identified, and I think this is true for a lot of brands, is the education piece around actually utilizing the product that they bought and understanding like what it's best for, how they can use it, and especially if you're using, a skincare product, you're going to use that product and you are going to need to replenish it at some point in time. So the biggest thing that we did was we did a bit of a deep dive on the data, and we started looking at how much customers had spent, what products they'd bought, and then how we could help them use that product. So we started really pressing on some of the pain that customers might feel, if they're looking to solve a particular problem. Like ingrown hairs with shaving for a man is, a big problem. But people might have bought combinations of products. So it might be that they've bought, shaving cream, and then they've also bought beard oil. So as a brand, we needed to understand that they bought these two products, and that actually created a unique circumstance for that particular user. So we went hyper segmented on what we did for each of these customers and set up some really focused flows in Klaviyo so that we could identify these customers and their needs. And then we were able to serve them up timely reminders to use the product. We would check in with them, on how they were getting on with the usage. There were ideas in there where we could start to ask them how quickly they were going through a particular product. A guy with a beard like mine, I'm not going to go through a hell of a lot of beard oil, but a guy with a much larger beard, his usage is going to be much higher than mine. So we really start to learn when people wanted to replenish that. Like Tila, you were talking earlier about stains on white t-shirts, and I was like, I quickly wrote that down, because these same things apply, in here. And ultimately, we were looking at how we can get somebody who we've acquired, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, how we can get them to start reordering as soon as possible. How can we make sure that they start using their product from day one? Whether that be that they've ordered for themselves now, or whether that be that they've ordered it as a gift. And we can start making sure that we are in those people's inboxes, we are texting them, so that they are really hyper focused on making sure that they're using that product. Ultimately, what that did is that resulted in a 50% increase in revenue for Aaron Wallace just on their D2C store. And we were measuring that over the course of a 12-month period. But longer than that, we see a 2x increase on that customer lifetime value. So people were sticking around way longer and they were spending way more than they were before. And this is the problem that they wanted to solve from retail. Retail, they would go in and they would buy one product and they would use that. Whereas when we were able to educate them an awful lot more, we were able to get more product into their hands and we were able to cross-sell them, other supplementary products that would really kind of enhance their usage of the brand as a whole, and keep them coming back, again and again.
Awesome. Thanks for highlighting that, Jason. It's so important to think of the entire customer journey, right? It's not just what is that second purchase, but it's what's the third, what's the fourth? At what point does that customer have your product kind of habitually built into their shelf? Like when are they clearing off space in their bathroom shelf for Aaron Wallace's product? So thanks for highlighting a little bit about how you got there. We're going to move into Q&A next. Chat has been a little bit quiet, so we're going to go through and ask what we have requested, but I'm going to ask you all to add some questions into the chat while we're going through this, and we also have a few that were submitted ahead. Question from Kendall: love activating shoppers in the post-purchase journey. Question is, there were so many great tips on loyalty programs. If a brand could focus on one change, what should they start with? I'm going to throw this one over to you, Ryan, based on your impact with Brixton this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to kind of narrow it down to one. I think like when I analyze a rewards program, I really look to see, is it visible on the site? If it's not somewhere in the menu, it's not, somewhere maybe on the home page, if you don't have maybe a widget that someone can see, you're ultimately going to see very low engagement in a program. And then, I guess we can stick to the visibility standpoint. Is it visible in your emails, in your texts? Are you promoting it? Just make sure that it's a part of your brand's marketing strategy, so that it doesn't get left behind. The worst is just to have a ton of customers that just have built up points balances and none of them are using it. So I'd say those are the most important things.
Amazing. I agree with you. Does anyone have anything else that they would add to that?
I'd say the product side of things. For me, I always want to start with the product, and the loyalty program supports that side of things. Rather than, for me, leading with the loyalty program is there to be like, hey, we really appreciate you as a customer. Here's what we can do to keep you coming back. And actually, you build that loyalty balance through, like, you don't tend to build that through one purchase. You build that through 2, 3, 4 purchases. And then, oh, here's an added benefit for you that, by the way, you've got 10% off. We value you as a customer. Here's 10% off. And activating it that way, for me, it's like the number one, making sure that that customer feels valued. They understand and enjoy the product. And then here's an added benefit that just makes me super sticky as a customer.
Awesome. Totally agree. All right, next question coming through. How do you choose which tactics to implement? I don't want to overwhelm customers with too many comms post BFCM. Thoughts on this? We all talked about slightly different angles. If you were working with the merchant to recommend, how would you think about turning this into a cohesive strategy? And I'll turn this over to anyone in the group to hop in. I think we're all going to have opinions on this.
I'll start this one off. I think it's all obviously depends upon the brand's where they need to focus, right? So if you're looking top of funnel with list growth, you might do something to acquire more emails. If you're trying to do retention, then that would be obviously more like loyalty. Yeah, I think it's pretty. I think about like list growth as almost like offense and retention as like defense from a like football analogy, and or any sport. And for some reason, offense gets all the glory. So like growing your list is always like kind of the fun thing to do, and it seems like the place to focus. But being a SaaS business, and I'm sure other SaaS businesses here can understand too, like there's nothing worse than losing a client. It is like you spend so much time to get them. So I really think it's the easy answer is always, oh, we need more list growth. But really, I would challenge that and say, let's look at both sides of this equation.
Yeah, just to kind of hop on top of that, I really can, because we work with quite a few brands that come to us with different challenges. And I just wanted to illuminate the fact that, there are quite a lot of brands that we work with that just have not the greatest list growth, and they've done a really great job from the retention standpoint. And so we're really thinking about how can we, increase effectiveness of pop-ups, how can we gather more subscribers in the checkout, add things like QR codes in packages to increase SMS and email signups. But then, conversely, there's also customers we work with that, they'll come to us with really great opt-in rates, but, they're churning their customers. Maybe they're all one-time purchasers, or maybe, even have a tough time converting first-time customers. And so a lot of the things like we talked about, loyalty plays a good factor in that, just having a great email and SMS program as well. So yeah, just again, limiting the fact that it's really dependent.
Yeah,
Jason?
I'd echo that 100%. But I guess the thing I would say is whatever you do, keep it simple. Like focus on one thing that you want to achieve as a brand. Like what is the next highest priority for you? Because if we're asking customers to do too much, then it's really confusing and they don't do anything. So, analyzing what you want to do as a brand and saying, okay, this is the next thing we want to achieve, and focus that. Go all in on that one thing, and your customers will do it. Once you've got them there, you can ask them to do the next thing. But like if you're asking them to do too many things, oh, can you leave a review and here are your loyalty points? And oh my God, it's overwhelming. So, just keep it really simple.
We've all seen those journeys, right? Where you get like 5 or 6 emails on the same day of the review and then the loyalty program. So agree with you on auditing when and what you're sending out, and maybe even combining them. A good example is at Stamp, you can put your loyalty program points as a banner into a Klaviyo email or into an attentive text so that it's not necessarily the primary CTA, but it's like a way to hearken or to reference back to that strategy for the customer. Awesome. All right. Next question is for Ryan. Do you have examples of the loyalty program emails from Brixton?
Yeah, we do. I mean, I'm not sure we'd be able to show them on this call, but if you're interested, feel free to reach out to us. I'm happy to kind of go through and show through their program, as well as some other brands that we work with in the loyalty space. So yeah, whoever was looking for that, maybe Tila, you could connect me with them. I'm happy to show through those.
Will do. Absolutely. And we're also on the Stamped end looking at putting together a bit of an inspirations library of various different customers and what their loyalty program flows look like in Klaviyo and Attentive. Right. Okay. Next question. How do you prevent over discounting for customers who made their first purchase with a large discount and are now expecting that same level of pricing for their second purchase? Such a key problem. What are your thoughts on this?
That is such a good question. I think it's really difficult if you've gone deep on discount on first purchase, because all of a sudden you've set the perception of value at a certain level. Being able to bring that up, I think, comes into not over discounting throughout the year. So keeping it to like short periods of time or specific holidays or events, and then really driving the value of your brand, whether that be community or whether that be product or, all of those things that don't don't necessarily fall into somebody comparing you on dollar amounts with somebody else. What are the intangibles that you can give them to help bring that up that are going to help you move the conversation away from cost and towards value?
Yeah, I really like that. I think one of the other things too, like I really like the intangible part. People are going to buy it from you inherently if they just really love the product. But I think a lot of brands will offer a discount just because it's the best and most effective way to drive email and SMS sign up. But they don't really know how much they have to give to be able to drive an effective sign up rate. So I think A/B testing from the start is probably your best bet. Set up a 10 versus 15 versus 20% and see what those conversion rates look like. If you're getting just as good or close to on the 10%, then it's going to be ultimately what wins out. But that's my biggest recommendation there.
Awesome. Brett or Nigel, anything to add to that?
I think discounts can be really effective for acquiring new customers. And I think bringing them back can kind of fall to some of the strategies Jason shared around hyper segmenting and offering unique product offerings based on the data that you've gotten once you've used that discount to acquire the customer in the first place.
So I like a strategy that I saw, like as a consumer, I forget the brand right now, but they actually like you want to know you're paying for quality. And I've seen some brands actually explain where their costs are. And they're like, okay, this shirt costs $90. Here's why. Here's what we're paying for these things. And it makes me like actually feel okay about paying the higher price. So like consumers know they can get a discount on the first one to try it out. And then if you explain to them why the price is what it is, I think you'll also see less pushback.
I agree on that concept. If you follow Lazy, the brand, they're like a home workwear, basically e-commerce brand, and they increased their prices earlier this year because of manufacturing, and they turn it into a whole series of stories on their Instagram posts of interacting with the different components of their manufacturing and their shipping, all of their different vendors to explain down to the pennies exactly why their pricing went up. And myself as a consumer, I loved that level of transparency and felt like I bought into the community with the brand so much more because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, that was our final question. We'll move into offers now. So for everyone who attended today and who registered for the ebook, there are some amazing discounts being offered by our hosts and by our ebook participants to get you started with these tactics in the new year, so you can kick off your retention resolutions much easier with a little less stress on what the contract purchase rate is going to be. So use this QR code to access the offers, and we will also follow up with them in an email. Thank you so much for joining today, for all of our hosts for presenting your amazing tactics, the case studies, your thoughts around these post-BFCM plays that we can all implement together. If you have any questions, feel free to respond to that follow-up email that we're going to send out, and hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their week. Thanks all.